The movie starts at a fancy party in a very expensive apartment in New York City. This stylish home belongs to Tom Mullen, a very wealthy man who made a lot of money by building his own airline company. He's throwing this big party to show a new TV commercial that tells his personal story. In the video, Tom talks about how he worked very hard and became rich all by himself, without any help from his family or money from others. The ad highlights how he started from nothing and became successful through his own effort. We're still pretty small in the scheme of things, but then I never wanted to be the biggest, he says. While the party continues, the movie shows two very different scenes. On one side, we see happy guests enjoying food, drinks, and music. On the other side, we see something secret and dangerous happening. In a hidden location, a group of mysterious people is getting ready to do something bad. They are kidnappers. They prepare a dark, uncomfortable room where they plan to keep someone locked away. It's clear that they are about to kidnap a person very soon. This contrast between the rich, happy party and the secret crime shows the movie's main conflict, the difference between people who have everything and people who are desperate. Not long after, Tom goes to a science fair in Central Park. He's there with his wife, Kate, and their young son, Sean. Kate is helping to judge the kids' science projects. As they walk around the fair, Sean starts to lose focus. Slowly, he walks away from his parents without them noticing. A short time later, Sean is kidnapped by a group of criminals. The people who take part in this crime include Maris Connor, a woman who works as a caterer and had access to the Mullen family's home during past events. There are also two brothers, Clark and Cubby Barnes, who both have a history of breaking the law. The last member of the group is Miles Roberts, a man who is very skilled with computers. Working together, the group grabs Sean, throws him into the back of a white van, and quickly drives off. A caterer, two former criminals, and a computer expert. This isn't a professional team like in Ocean's 11. These are desperate amateurs. Tom and Kate soon realize that Sean is missing. They panic and begin running through the crowd, calling out his name again and again. But Sean has disappeared. No matter how much they look, they can't find him anywhere. A little later, back at home, the kidnappers contact Tom and Kate by email. They send a video showing Sean blindfolded and chained to a bed. He looks scared and completely powerless. In the video, a voice with a distorted sound says, "Do not contact the police or the FBI. If you do, we'll kill him." The kidnapper's voice is unrecognizable. They demand a ransom of $2 million and warn that if the police or the media find out, Sean will die. "Do not talk to the media or I will kill your son." Even though the threat is terrifying, Tom and Kate feel they can't handle this situation on their own. They decide to call the FBI. To avoid attention, the agents arrive at their apartment disguised as renovation workers. The team is led by Agent Lonnie Hawkins, along with Agents Kimber Welsh, Jack Sickler, and David. Once inside, Agent Hawkins asks the couple if they want to talk with the kidnappers or just pay the ransom. Tom already knows what he wants to do. He has packed 2 large suitcases full of money and is ready to give it away as soon as the kidnappers send instructions. Tom's decision to just pay them shows that he's used to solving problems with money. But will that be enough this time? Meanwhile, at the kidnappers' hideout in Brooklyn, one of them, Cubby, starts feeling bad. He feels sorry for Sean and sits next to him, offering him a chocolate bar. But Maris, the woman in the group, gets angry at Cubby for acting nice to the boy. "What are you doing? Do you like this kid? Want to be his friend now?" she says harshly. Cubby is the only one showing some human feelings, but in a kidnapping like this, that could be dangerous. The others agree with Maris, telling Cubby not to get close to the boy because the situation is too serious. But Cubby thinks the boy won't even remember them. After all, his eyes are covered. Clark, Cubby's brother, agrees with the group but clearly wants to protect his brother and doesn't like the way they're talking to him. Back at the Mullen home, Tom has a private talk with Agent Hawkins. He shares a secret from his past. Years ago, during a conflict with a workers' union, Tom paid a powerful union leader to stop a strike. That payment was illegal. The union leader went to jail, but Tom was never caught or charged. Now, he wonders if this past mistake has something to do with what's happening. Tom starts to wonder if his son's kidnapping is somehow connected to the mistake he made years ago. To check this lead, Agent Hawkins arranges a meeting between Tom and the union leader who is now in prison. But after they talk, It becomes obvious that the man has nothing to do with Sean's disappearance. "Where's my son?" Tom asks angrily. The union leader replies with frustration, "You and your wife are accusing me for no reason. Get off me." Meanwhile, back at the kidnappers' hideout, Cubby still feels guilty and wants to do something nice for the boy. He decides to go to a corner store nearby to buy some cereal and videotapes to cheer up Sean. Cubby doesn't know that police officers are already at the store for a totally different reason. Detective Jimmy Shaker and his partner are inside questioning a man who tried to rob the store. "Have you seen this before?" Jimmy asks. "No," replies the suspect. "We're going to find your fingerprints on it," Jimmy warns. As they question the man, he notices Cubby acting nervous and finds him suspicious. After leaving the store, Jimmy quietly returns and starts following Cubby without being seen. He secretly tails him all the way back to the hideout. Once there, Jimmy sneaks inside and passes the locked room where Sean is being held. Suddenly, he pulls a gun and points it at Cubby's head. This is where a huge twist is revealed. Jimmy, the detective, is actually the leader of the kidnappers. That's right, the cop is the villain. Jimmy yells at Cubby for being careless and nearly ruining the entire plan. He says Cubby is lucky no one recognized a known criminal buying food for kids. "What were you planning to do with those videotapes, huh?" he shouts. Later that night, we see Maris and Jimmy in bed together, and it's revealed that they are in a relationship. Maris tells Jimmy that she feels like Cubby and the others don't respect her. She doesn't trust them and questions why Jimmy even brought them into the plan. "Why do we need them? Why couldn't we do this alone?" she asks. Back at the Mullen penthouse, Jimmy, still using a disguised voice, calls again and gives new instructions on where to drop off the ransom. The FBI tries to trace the call, but Jimmy uses advanced tech to block their efforts. It's the 90s. Back then, hacking seemed like magic. The FBI suggests sending a lookalike to deliver the money, but Tom refuses. He insists on doing it himself. The agents agree but place a small microphone on Tom to secretly listen during the drop. Tom wants to handle it personally, maybe out of pride, or maybe just a father's instinct. Either way, it's a risky move. Meanwhile, the kidnappers prepare to leave. Cubby quietly goes to Sean and whispers to him that he will be reunited with his parents very soon. "It's almost over, kid," he says kindly. Later, Tom drives to the first meeting spot. When he arrives, he receives a call on his car phone, telling him to go to a nearby gym. Once inside, Jimmy tells him to jump into the swimming pool. At the bottom of the pool, Tom finds a locker key. But the water causes the hidden microphone to stop working. The FBI loses the signal. "All suspects have left the building," one agent says. After getting out of the water, Tom uses the key to open a locker. Inside, he finds a radio and a new set of clothes. He is told to change and move the cash into 2 duffel bags. He follows the instructions and finds a waiting car outside. The original suitcases with the money are left behind, now completely out of the FBI's reach. As night falls, Tom continues to drive, while Jimmy secretly watches. Jimmy follows Tom in another car without being seen. Over the radio, Jimmy starts mocking Tom, saying he always uses money to solve his problems, just like he did when he paid off the union leader. "Hey, I saw your TV commercial. Not bad. Pretty good, actually," Jimmy says sarcastically. Tom tries to ask questions about his son or speak directly to Sean, but Jimmy avoids answering. He just keeps teasing Tom. Jimmy taunting Tom over the radio makes him seem like a classic villain. He's clearly enjoying this way too much. Frustrated, Tom pulls his car over. The radio signal gets weaker, which makes him realize something important. Jimmy must be nearby, following him. Tom starts driving again, and the signal becomes stronger. He's getting close. Jimmy then gives Tom new instructions. Leave the main road and drive into a rock quarry. Jimmy promises that once Tom drops off the money, he'll receive the location of where Sean is being kept. At the quarry, Cubby shows up on an ATV. He demands the money. Tom asks for the location first, but Cubby ignores him and tries to grab the bags. "You want to see your kid again? Then give me the money," he shouts. Suddenly, 2 helicopters arrive carrying a SWAT team. They surround the whole area. Cubby panics and tries to escape with the money. As he drives away, he starts shooting at the officers and hits one. A sniper in one of the helicopters shoots Cubby in the neck, and he falls off the ATV. SWAT team leader to command post, "We've got an agent down," someone reports. Tom runs over, hoping Cubby might still be alive and able to talk. But Cubby is too badly wounded. He dies without saying anything. "Where is he? What have you done with my son?" Tom shouts in anger. Furious, Tom blames the FBI for ruining everything and possibly killing the only person who could have led them to Sean. "You killed my son," he screams. Agent Hawkins tries to calm him down. He explains that even though Cubby is dead, they've learned his real identity. Cubby was a low-level criminal who used to work with his older brother, Clark Barnes. Clark is far more dangerous and experienced. The agents now believe that finding Clark is their best chance of saving Sean. Clark is the smart one in the family. And we know he's much higher up in the criminal world, Hawkins explains. Back at the hideout, Clark is heartbroken after learning that his younger brother is dead. He's filled with rage and wants to change the plan. He suggests they kill Sean and leave. Maris agrees. She thinks everything is falling apart and that she'll never get her life back. "I'm exposed. I can't go back. What do you want me to do?" she asks Clark. But Jimmy, who's still in charge, completely disagrees. He gets angry at both of them and insists the plan will continue. "I brought you into this because you had brains and guts," he yells. He says they will still collect the ransom from Tom, no matter what. "The kid dies when we don't need him anymore," Jimmy says coldly. Meanwhile, back at Tom's luxury penthouse, news channels begin to report on Sean's kidnapping and the failed ransom exchange. The story spreads quickly and appears on every TV screen. Now the public is aware of what's going on. After what happened with Cubby, Tom starts to think more carefully. He remembers how confused Cubby was when he asked for Sean's location. It was clear Cubby didn't even know what Tom was talking about. Now Tom begins to wonder if Jimmy ever planned to keep his promise. He fears Jimmy might not return Sean even after getting the ransom. Because of this, Tom considers a risky idea. Maybe they shouldn't pay the ransom at all. Maybe there's a better way to get Sean back. "If we give him what he wants, he'll kill Sean anyway," Tom says. "You have to take your chances," someone tells him. While this is going on, Jimmy calls Tom again. He gives him new directions for where to drop off the ransom money. "This how you want to play it? You trying to screw me over?" Jimmy says, clearly angry. At first, Tom listens and begins to follow the new instructions. But after thinking about what Jimmy says, he suddenly changes his mind. "No, FBI. You pay me. This shouldn't be a problem." "But now there's a damn circus out there," Jimmy complains. Tom then tells Jimmy to turn on Channel 5 and watch the news for the next few hours. He hangs up immediately. Right after the call, Tom goes to a local TV station. Once there, he interrupts the live news broadcast. He sits at the news desk with all $2 million of the ransom money laid out on the table so everyone watching can see it clearly. Looking straight into the camera, Tom makes a surprising announcement. He says he's not going to pay the ransom. "This is the closest you'll ever get to this money. You won't see a single dollar," he says to the kidnappers. Instead of giving in to the demands, Tom turns the ransom into a public reward. He announces that anyone who helps catch or even kill the kidnapper will receive the full $2 million. Tom's move is risky, maybe brilliant, or maybe insane. But he makes his message clear: the kidnapper will never see the money. Still, he offers a deal. If Sean is returned safely, he'll cancel the reward. "You still have a chance to do the right thing," Tom says on air. After the broadcast, Tom returns home. His wife and Agent Hawkins are shocked by what he just did. They didn't expect him to make such a dangerous decision. But Tom is confident in his choice. He tries to convince his wife that this is the only real way to save their son. "I know if I give him the money, he'll kill Sean." "I would if I were him," Tom says honestly. He's sure the kidnappers plan to kill Sean whether they get the money or not. He believes this because of how Cubby acted during the first ransom drop. It just didn't feel right. Meanwhile, back at the hideout, things are falling apart. Jimmy starts to lose control of the group. The other kidnappers panic after seeing Tom's TV message. They are now more desperate and ready to kill Sean. But Jimmy steps in just in time to stop them. "It's not time to kill the boy," he shouts. "Lie down. You want to stay on the floor forever, maggot." He's furious that they're trying to quit on him. "Nobody walks out on me. You know who I am," Jimmy says. Seeing things spiral out of control, Jimmy tries to take charge again. He comes up with a new plan. He secretly sends a message to Kate, Tom's wife. In the message, he tells her to meet him alone at an old church at 2 a.m. He warns her not to tell Tom. "If your husband finds out, the deal is off." When Kate arrives at the church, Jimmy is wearing a ski mask. He suddenly shows up, scares her, and makes a violent threat. He says he'll cut Sean open if they don't pay. To prove he's serious, he gives her Sean's bloody shirt. Kate is terrified. She returns home in shock, clearly shaken by everything she saw and heard at the church. She starts to question Tom's decision. Not paying the ransom doesn't feel like the right choice anymore. Hawkins notices her doubt and gently tries to convince her that paying the money might be the safest way to bring Sean back home. But Tom refuses to give up. Instead, he steps outside and speaks directly to the group of reporters gathered outside the house. He makes another bold move. He announces that the reward is now doubled to $4 million. It's no longer just about his son, it's become personal. This hits Jimmy hard. His pride can't take the insult. Desperate and angry, Jimmy calls Tom again. He lets Sean speak for a few seconds to prove he's alive, then demands the money once more. But neither man wants to give in. "You have one more chance to pay," Jimmy warns, "or you'll never hear from your son again." Their conversation quickly turns into a shouting match. At the end of the call, Jimmy yells that he's going to kill Sean. To make his threat feel real, he fires his gun at a wall, then hangs up. Tom and Kate are left terrified, unsure if their son is still alive. Back at the hideout, everything is falling apart. Jimmy goes to a laundromat nearby, trying to figure out what to do next. Meanwhile, Clark and Miles are packing up the white van. They're planning to run away. Inside the house, Maris is once again thinking about killing Sean. While sitting in the laundromat, Jimmy comes up with a last-minute idea. He uses his police radio to send a fake emergency alert. Then, pretending to be a cop, he runs outside, flashes his badge, and pretends to arrest Clark and Miles. But the others catch on quickly. They realize Jimmy is turning on them. Chaos breaks out. Clark and Miles try to flee in the van, but Jimmy shoots and kills them both. He plants a used gun on Miles to make it look like self-defense. Just then, Maris walks outside and sees what happened. Furious and shocked, she shoots Jimmy in the shoulder. Even though he's hurt, Jimmy fires back and kills her. Police officers arrive soon after. Jimmy stumbles back inside the house and sits beside Sean. He grabs his radio and calls for help, pretending he just found the boy and rescued him. He stays with Sean until the emergency team comes in. "Don't shoot, I'm a cop," he yells. Jimmy is now pretending to be a hero, after killing everyone. But unfortunately for him, Sean remembers everything. Soon after, Tom and Kate arrive and see their son. They are relieved he's alive. Tom thanks Jimmy, who is being taken to an ambulance, for saving their son. Back at home, Sean struggles to return to normal. He's afraid of the dark and sensitive to light because he was blindfolded most of the time. "Leave the lights on," he says. So they do. A few days later, Jimmy visits Tom's penthouse to collect the $4 million reward. Tom agrees and invites him into his office to write the check. While Tom is writing, Jimmy asks, "Can I ask a personal question?" "Sure," Tom replies. "Why didn't you pay the ransom?" Tom answers honestly. He says he couldn't give money to someone so heartless. He adds that if things had gotten worse, he would have paid 10 times more just to bring his son back safely. As they talk, Sean walks into the room. He freezes at the doorway when he hears Jimmy's voice and sees part of his face. Suddenly, memories come rushing back. Sean pees his pants in fear. Tom notices this reaction. He also remembers that police said Maris may not have acted alone. Now it all makes sense. At that moment, Kate walks in and gives Jimmy a warm hug. She smiles, thanking him for helping her son. But for Sean, it's a nightmare. The man who tortured him is being treated like a hero. Tom now knows the truth. Sean quietly leaves the room without anyone noticing, but it's already too late. The damage is done. Tom starts to feel uncomfortable. "Well, you probably want to be on your way," he says. Tom hands Jimmy the check, but hesitates for a second. Jimmy notices something is off. He quickly realizes that Tom might have figured it out. He knows Jimmy was one of the kidnappers. To protect himself, Jimmy pulls out a gun. He orders Tom to call the bank and wire the money straight to his account. Tom stays calm and agrees. Then he suggests they both go to the bank together. He promises Jimmy that once the money is sent, he'll be free to leave the country. Jimmy thinks for a moment, then nods. But before they leave, he threatens Tom again. He says he might come back someday and kill Sean. "I took a bullet, and now you're trying to cheat me out of my money." They both leave the apartment and get into a car. Tom pretends to call a private jet company for Jimmy. But in reality, he's calling Hawkins and the FBI. He tells them they're going to the bank first, then heading to the airport. Jimmy starts getting suspicious, but before he can hear the full call, Tom ends it. "I'll explain everything later. Give Katie a call. Bye." When they arrive at the bank, everything seems normal. Tom sends the money to Jimmy's account, just like he said. It all looks official, but really, it's just a trick to stall Jimmy and buy time. "Get this man his money." "Thanks." "No problem. Just press enter and it's done." The FBI had already warned the local police that Jimmy was involved in the kidnapping. As Tom and Jimmy leave the bank, two officers try to stop Jimmy. "Sir, can we speak with you for a second? We need to detain you." But Jimmy pulls out a gun, shoots both officers, and runs into the street. Tom chases after him. They end up fighting in front of a store. During the fight, Tom grabs Jimmy's gun and points it at him. Police officers arrive and yell at Tom to drop the weapon. But Jimmy, though badly hurt, reaches for another gun hidden at his ankle. "Put the gun down, Tom. Put it down." Tom sees Jimmy's hand moving and fires once. At the same time, Hawkins fires 3 more shots. All of them hit Jimmy and kill him. Hawkins' triple shot is overkill, but it makes sure Jimmy can't come back. No loose ends. A few moments later, Kate arrives. She and Tom walk away together as the police take over the scene. The movie ends with the couple holding each other tightly, finally free from Jimmy's threat. This film delivers a gripping thriller experience where tension never lets up, powered by intense performances and a well-structured plot. Through the story of a desperate father trying to recover his kidnapped son, we witness a dangerous game of cat and mouse between Tom, a wealthy but determined man, and Jimmy, a former cop turned cunning criminal. The film's biggest strength is its unrelenting dramatic tension. From the opening scenes, the audience is thrown into a whirlwind of emotion and uncertainty that doesn't let go until the final moments. The twists are frequent, sometimes brutal, but always effective in keeping the suspense alive. Tom, the central character, is well portrayed, evolving from a panicked father to a calm, calculated negotiator. But it's Jimmy, the main antagonist, who truly steals the spotlight. A former cop now deep in the criminal underworld, his dual nature, caring one minute, terrifying the next, adds a compelling unpredictability to the film. His most shocking move: pretending to be a hero after murdering his own partners. One of the film's most powerful scenes is the moment of recognition between Sean and Jimmy. No words, just a child's terrified reaction to a familiar voice and face. It's subtle, haunting, and unforgettable. Visually, the direction is tight and immersive. The use of close-ups, handheld shots, and quick cuts perfectly enhances the tension. You can feel the anxiety, fear, and sometimes the sheer helplessness of the characters. Despite its strengths, the movie isn't without flaws. There are a few questionable plot points. For example, Jimmy manages to manipulate everyone, including law enforcement, for a large portion of the film, which feels unrealistic considering the media attention and FBI involvement. Some action scenes, while thrilling, lean toward over-the-top violence. A key moment, like Hawkins firing 3 bullets into Jimmy after Tom's initial shot, feels like excessive force, arguably satisfying, but bordering on unrealistic for some viewers. Additionally, supporting characters such as Maris and Clark lack development. Their motives remain vague, and they exist mainly to push the plot forward rather than enrich the story. Despite its strengths, the movie isn't without flaws. There are a few questionable plot points. For example, Jimmy manages to manipulate everyone, including law enforcement, for a large portion of the film, which feels unrealistic considering the media attention and FBI involvement. Some action scenes, while thrilling, lean toward over-the-top violence. A key moment, like Hawkins firing 3 bullets into Jimmy after Tom's initial shot, feels like excessive force, arguably satisfying, but bordering on unrealistic for some viewers. Additionally, supporting characters such as Maris and Clark lack development. Their motives remain vague, and they exist mainly to push the plot forward rather than enrich the story.